So we're only a couple of days into spoiler season for Double Masters, and a lot of these reprints are looking very promising. But is it possible that Wizards might miss the mark on something when it comes to Double Masters? Let's take a look. What's up, Commander players? My name's Matt, and you're watching Top Commander. So, today's episode, I wanted to go over a few things from Double Masters spoilers that we've seen so far. We're only a couple of days into it, and I will be doing more detailed videos when the set is fully spoiled, so we can see what all we have. Right now, this is a more or less a speculation video. But we've started seeing spoilers. There's a lot of amazing reprints in this. I know I just recently did a video where I kind of tagged on the problem with the VIP booster packs being $100. Don't waste your money. But as far as singles go, they're doing pretty good as far as reprints, as far as we could tell. But there might be something that I think Wizards might miss or may not miss. We'll have to find out when they finish spoiling the rest of the set. But before I get into that, if you wish to support this channel, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel directly, be sure to visit patreon.com/topcommander. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, there's been a lot of really good spoilers so far. A lot of amazing reprints coming from Double Masters. A lot of these are cards that really needed a reprint. As far as the reprints go themselves, they're amazing. The fact that we're getting reprints for cards that are $50, $60, $80 easily. I mean, I believe a lot of these were $30 and up cards. Of course, there were a few that were on the cheaper side, but a lot of it seems like filler, but also much needed reprints that we've needed for a while anyways. But there's one thing that I feel like Wizards has a really good chance to capitalize on, and I'm not sure if they're going to or not. And that's the certain cycles that they're reprinting. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's go ahead and start with the first one, Council's Judgment. So, this is a sorcery for 1 generic and 2 white, and it has Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes, or tied for most votes. So, this is an interesting piece of removal. I actually don't see this played in Commander, but this is technically part of a cycle. So Will of the Council was a mechanic, the voting mechanic, if you will, that I believe came from Conspiracy. It was either Conspiracy or Battlebond, but I'm pretty sure it was Conspiracy. So this is interesting, and the reason why I brought this one up is because I haven't seen a spoiler yet for Expropriate, which also has the Will of the Council effect on it, where you vote time or money, and it's the 9-mana blue sorcery that, and it ends games a lot of the time, so let's face it. Depending on how people vote, a lot of the times it ends games, because every time you vote time, the person that played it gets an extra turn, and every time you vote money, each person that voted money, they get to steal one of your permanents. So at the very minimum, the player who casts Expropriate is getting an extra turn and 3 permanents. 1 from each of their opponents, if everybody votes money and he's the only one that votes time. So we haven't seen the spoiler for that, but that would be another really good card that Wizards should reprint at some point, because I believe right now it's commanding about a $40 to $50 price tag. I know it's up there. I might be a little bit wrong on that price, but I know it's not very cheap. So this is just one of those things where it's like, okay, you're printing this, but what about this? Another instance of that would be Austere Command. We got the spoiler earlier today or yesterday, I believe, for Austere Command, which is a white sorcery for 4 generic and 2 white, and it's a modal spell. So you choose 2 out of the 4 options. Destroy all enchantments, destroy all artifacts, destroy all creatures with CMC 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with CMC 4 or more. So this is a modal spell. It's part of the command cycle that came in one of the earlier Commander precon sets. I can't remember off the top of my head which one, but in that set we had the Austere command, which was this card particularly, which was a really amazing whiteboard wipe. So we got a reprint for that. But the other command card that sees a lot of play, sees a fair amount of play, Cryptic Command, was not on the spoiler list yet. So, again, if they're going to focus the reprints on Commander played cards, Cryptic Command I feel like should be on that list. They don't necessarily have to print all the command cards from that. Same with the Council's Judgment. You don't have to necessarily reprint every card with Will of the Council on it, because a lot of them weren't that great, which is why you only see the Expropriate being played, really. So this is one of those moments of, they have good reprints. They're amazing reprints, but hopefully they don't drop the ball on this. So another one, Sword of War and Peace. This was a very interesting choice, in my opinion. So, it's part of the Sword of cycle. Sword of War and Peace was part of the original Sword of cycle, which there was only 5 swords in the beginning. It was War and Peace, Light and Shadow, Body and Mind, Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice. Now, having a reprint for War and Peace is good, but as far as the other swords are concerned, the ones that they should be reprinting are Feast and Famine and Fire and Ice, because those have about a $50, $60 price tag on them. Those are the most expensive ones. I believe Feast and Famine is actually only about $30, $35. It might have went up. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it's up there. As far as the Sword Up series goes, War and Peace is on the lower end, honestly. Which is surprising. So if we're getting War and Peace, hopefully we'll be getting, at the bare minimum, Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, and Light and Shadow. Again, you don't necessarily have to reprint Body and Mind, because Body and Mind is not really used in Commander all that much, at least not in my circles. I don't see it that often, because milling your opponent for 10 cards, you don't know who's playing a Graveyard Recursion deck, and you're just going to fuel their strategy. So, and in my circles, there's a lot of Graveyard Recursion, which is why that one's not played that often. Now, so the next one is Expedition Map. This one I thought was a very interesting one. It's being printed as a rare, which is very interesting, because this used to be a common. So it's an artifact for 1 mana. You pay 2, tap and sacrifice it, and you search your library for any land card and put it into your hand. Now, this one was not part of a cycle. This is a notable reprint, though, and the fact that they print it as a rare is kind of off-putting for me a little bit, but it was a common that was about $7. $7 common. Okay, you don't see that too often outside of like Shadowborn Apostles and things like that. Which maybe Persistent Petitioners might be up there as well in that price range because of the new mill commander that's come out. So, Expedition Map, it's not part of a cycle, but it was a common that's being reprinted as a rare. And it got a pretty sweet extended art, alternate art look to it that I kind of like personally. But seeing Expedition Map, I'm hoping that we can see a reprint of Wayfarer's Bauble. So it's not necessarily part of a cycle, but this is just one of those, if you're going to print this, could you print this along with it? These are just things that I'm hoping. Now, a lot of this is speculation as well, because we don't know 100% on what Wizards is going to do. We don't know the full spoilers just yet. This is just kind of speculation. This is just something that if they do catch on to this particular dilemma when it comes to reprinting certain cards, they'll probably be a lot better off for it. Granted, you don't have to go and print the whole cycle, because the other command cards are not used that often. But now let's talk about one that we've known for a while, which was Atraxa Prayer's Voice. Now, it was one of the 4-color commanders from the Commander Precons in 2016, I believe. So, it's a 4/4 Flying Vigilant Death Touch lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, proliferate. It is the redless commander, and it's an Angel Horror. So, this is one of the more prominently used 4-color commanders, as far as just strictly one commander, one legendary creature. It was between Atraxa and Breya Ethereum Shaper, which also is getting a reprint. Now, we saw the altered art for Atraxa. We have not seen altered art Breya yet. So, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to get that, but that would be cool. But that also opens up to the other 4-color commanders that were in the 2016 product. Are those going to get a reprint? Now, granted, two of them are not used a whole lot in my experience. But you have Canias and Tiro of Miladies. I probably butchered that name up really good. And we also had Saskia the Unyielding, and the other one that I feel sees more play than those two was Yidris Maelstrom Wanderer. Now, it's interesting because you would think that if they're going to print certain cards that are technically part of a cycle, that they would print the whole cycle. But we haven't seen that just yet. Now, is there time to still see that pop up? Absolutely. This is all speculation. This is just something that I noticed. Another spoiler that we just got today was actually Wrath of God, which, for many people that probably don't know, Wrath of God used to be the original board sweep. It was the OG board wipe for white. 2 generic and 2 white for destroy all creatures. Those creatures cannot be regenerated. Now, that also makes me wonder if we're going to get a reprint for Damnation in this set, because Damnation is the black version of Wrath of God. It is literally the exact same card. 2 generic, 2 black, destroy all creatures. Those creatures cannot be regenerated. Now, the biggest difference between these two, of course, being that Damnation is still commanding a minimum of about a $35 price tag currently. So that's one that needs to be reprinted, because there's no reason for Damnation to be that expensive. Now, they did have the invocation art done for Damnation back in Amonkhet. That is going to command a decent price regardless. I don't expect that one to drop, but at least the regular Damnation card could drop down a little bit from where it's at now. Because it's the only difference is it's black. It's a black card doing the same thing that Wrath of God does, and Wrath of God is cheaper, which makes no sense. But this is just something that I wanted to kind of bring to light, kind of just discuss and see what everybody's thoughts were on this. If anybody else is noticing this, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you noticing this? Do you feel like Wizards is going to drop the ball and not give reprints to other cards in the cycle, or in all of these cycles, or are they probably just going to save the best for last or something? Do you feel like the spoilers are going to get better, or have they already shown all their really, really good stuff? Let me know what you guys think. If you watch this video after spoiler season, heads up, this was just a speculation video at the time of recording. I don't know what anything is past this video until we get there, so I'm with you. At that point, I'll already know. So, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Or maybe if you just want to comment about the the problem with reprinting certain cards that are part of a cycle but not printing the whole cycle. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next video.